Frio River Baptist Association members, welcome to Bulldozer Crafts, part of our Concrete and Cranes VBS Training 2020. I'm Ruth Ditton from First Baptist Charlotte, and I would like to share with you today some of the crafts that have been suggested for this series. As we think about construction, we think about the way buildings go up, other structures, even if it's a playground or something. And although there are many different things about each of those sites, one of the things that is the common of all of them is their foundation. Without a good solid foundation, those structures are not going to last. And the foundation is a theme throughout this construction time. But ours is about the foundation that Jesus gives us. Although we want to plan crafts each day for our children that they will enjoy, and that is a big thing. If they don't enjoy it, they won't take it home and remember it. But we also want to extend and on their Bible stories that they have each day and help them discover throughout the week that Jesus and His love provides a solid foundation for their lives. And it all begins when they ask Him to be their Savior and they trust Him. So as we go through these crafts, I know that each of us have a little bit different situations. Our groups are different in many ways, but they're all children. They love to work with their hands and they get excited about doing things. I know we have different spaces and different resources, but in each area I will try to give you some ideas. That's the one thing that I miss about us not being together, is we're always able to bounce ideas back and forth and come up with different ways to do things. So I will miss that, but we want to go through these and I want to show you what's available, and then hopefully that will help you when you start planning your Bible school. The first day of our first day is called the Foundation of Love, that Jesus chooses to love me. I can't earn it. It goes back to the tax collector, Matthew, who learns that he didn't do anything to deserve Jesus' love, but yet it was granted. Now they have several crafts here on this day that I'm going to show you. Now one of them is in the kit. Now the thing about the kits that come from Lifeway is that all of the pieces are in there and you don't have to do as much preparation. But sometimes we find another way that works better for us. Now this is the one that came that was made from the kit. It's just a door hanger. All of these little pieces are glued on, and then you've got the stickers, and all you have to do is write their name. One caution I would say on this one that I found, that put the cord on first, because in the directions it tells you to glue these. These are not self-adhesive, and if you glue them first and then turn it over to put the cord, they're all going to slide on you. So you want to be sure you have that done first. The other thing, and I discovered on another craft, that this little craft tape here is good. It's kind of like making it self-adhesive, and I just discovered that one by accident because it was in our cabinet upstairs. Another one that I want to share with you that was out of the book is the Jesus Loves, and they put their name there. So this is good. It's an easy craft to do. It's a good one for the first day because they can put it up in their classrooms. I know our teachers a lot of times have things they give them throughout the week. If you have a bag that with their name on it, they can take back to their classroom. You can put their crafts from each day, the materials from their teachers, and they have it all together to take home at the end of the week. This one, it calls for an 8x10 bag, which is this. And all you need is a template heart to go in. I think it says, I'm thinking it tells you to write the name first. So I will just, and of course, did I come? I will just write a name here. And I guess I'll have 2 bags. Okay. Then just with your name in the middle, their name, and you could do this afterwards. I don't know if it would bother the chalk, but I don't think so because you have to spray it. So you need a bag of some sort, and you could do any size bag you want, because if it's a bigger bag, just make a bigger heart. So you just can judge that. All right, then all you need is some chalk, some colored chalk. I found the sidewalk chalk is very easy to hold on to. So, but if you have the smaller, that would work. And they're just going to hopefully you can see, just go all around it. Do a couple of different colors. And I should have written the top part, but I forgot. And I'm going to stop here for just a second and put the right on the top. And I would do that first so you don't have chalk all over you. But we are going to remedy that in just a moment. Okay, then you want to let them just take their fingers and just kind of smooth it. And you might have wipes handy so that they can wipe their hands. And pull your thing off and get your hairspray. This is just the aerosol. I don't know if the just the pump would work. I'm afraid it would get it too wet, but you just spray it over the chalk. And don't be alarmed that it looks like all the chalk went away, because as it dries, it will show up. And we'll check that out later. It's going to appear. And they'll probably like that also, just the fact that it's kind of like magic to them, that it will come back as it dries. That was one of my favorites, and it is an easy one. Another one that is scheduled for that day is the little washer bracelet. It calls for a 7/8" washer, which this is not. I went shopping for some things just before all of this virus hit. So basically I've just wandered through my garage and found things that would work, which you could do too. It's just a flat washer and some thread. And it a little bit heavier. The thread that I used on this was the what's called friendship thread. Something a little bit heavier would probably do better, because you have to really knot these to keep them from pulling through the bead. It's just a washer, a couple of different colors of thread. Let me show you right quick how to put it through. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you, but take a couple of colors, pieces of thread, just put it there, run it through the middle. I'm sorry. My videographer here is trying to keep up with me. And just do that on both sides. And then take your marker and just write the word love. Now you have to thread through the little pony bead on both ends. So you might have to put one side through, maybe tape it down a little bit and pull the other through. But they will enjoy this. The only problem I have, you have to knot it at least a couple of times there. But when you put it, getting it tightened, you really have to have a friend to help to pull it up on it, and it doesn't stay. So a heavier cord might work better. So you'll just have to play with it, is the only thing I can tell you to do. Oh, well, that is that one, isn't it? I'm already mixed up. Okay, let's see. What else we have? Okay, now day 2 is forgiveness, foundation of forgiveness. Okay, and this one is about the story of Paul when he was chosen by God and was forgiven of his sins and what he went through and seeing the light and Jesus being a light for him. Now we have several crafts on that one that are really, I think, are really cute. This one is a little backpack tag, and it has the little beads that spell forgiveness, and then it has the cross on here. Most of your children will probably be used to doing this type of thing where they do it through. The instructions are very good, and the thing about this, if you have the kit, all of these are in there. You could go and find all of these things probably, but I think the alphabet beads, having to find that word for enough children would be the problem. So if you're going to do this, I would suggest finding a kit. Lifeway has these are the ones from Lifeway, but if you try online, Oriental Trader, some of those, they'll have a lot of different similar things too. The Guild Craft, I used to get things from, I noticed online the other day, is not shipping right now. So you'll have to kind of search around. But by the time you have Bible school, then it might happen. Okay, one of the others is, what's this one? You think about I-beams as you're building, and we're using the jumbo popsicle sticks. Now this one, it's not hard, but there's a few downfalls in it. This is in the back of your leader's guide, the little template. So you just have to make copies of that. You'll need 7 sticks. You'll need I'm going to suggest this tape. It tells you to glue it, and then you're going to need something like painter's tape. You're going to line them up. Just, if you don't get them perfect, I think all will be forgiven. That's the story of today. That's all that's going to do is hold them until you get everything else done. Okay. Flip it over. Now on this, I was trying to think of other things you could put on this. I came up with the Bible verse for the week, and I can kind of make it fit, but it was really tight. So this is the one that's in your leader guide, the template. And with this, you're just going to put some on all the way on each one. And stick it on there. And you want to be sure, though, that you got some of it on every one. Okay. Next step, which I'm not going to actually do, but you're going to just put the magnets. You're going to get the little magnets, and you'll have to get some with. You want the self-adhesive, and just cut them. You can get a package of about 18 of these for about 97 cents. So one would do at least all of that. Then you're going to take the tape off. And you're going to cut it. Now, you can use the scissors, and they're going to have to just cut. I think they can do it. It's kind of easier if they work from the back and just cut all the way through. The other thing I found that was easier for me, if I can get my thumb out of this, was to go this way, but most of your kids aren't going to be able to do that. I thought about an X-Acto knife, but they're usually so sharp they would cut your wood. So anyway, you just cut all the pieces apart, and then they've got a puzzle. Now, this one, I did the glue, and you can see where it pulled it off, because if you don't have time to let it dry really well, then it's going to do that. The paper's going to be wet when you cut. So they can do this. It works great on the refrigerator. There was no cookie sheet in my house that it stuck to for some reason, but I found one here. So they will enjoy putting it back together, and it tells them Jesus loves me regardless of my sin. And that's just like Paul found out, that although he was not worthy, Jesus loved him anyway. Now this next one they have in here, I'm going to tell you about it, but I'll tell you my experience with it, and it has some downfalls also. This is glow-in-the-dark slime, and it's not difficult to make, but if you make the mistake like I did and not very carefully read the proportions, I got a little bit too much solution, and it made it very sticky, and it is slimy. It kind of ran all over my kitchen counter. So be sure you try this. The children will love it. You need a 5-ounce thing of glue, the glow-in-the-dark glue. Elmer's has it, and it's about, and I wrote down how much it was. I think it was, just a moment, I'll find it. It was about $4.47 for 5 ounces. And 5 ounces will do enough for 4 children. You need 5 ounces of the glue, 5 ounces of water, a half a tablespoon, which is 1.5 teaspoons, of baking soda, and just a tablespoon of the multi-purpose contact solution. I put a little too much in. It took me a while. It was really sticky, and before I could get water in my hands, it was running on the counter. It says to put them in little containers with a lid. This one does not screw down. I think that would be better. This will work, but it gets stickier in here. I'm going to be brave and try to take one of them out. But it does glow in the dark. I tried it out, glow in the dark, and they will love that. And they'll just like working with it. And it will slime. Reminded me of the movie The Blob. And I was about ready to run, but I know the kids will enjoy it. So I'm going to let you make your decision on that one. Okay. And it states in here, and this is such a good point that I like, that the slime will glow in the dark, and it reminds us of the light that Jesus brings to our lives when we trust Him and choose to obey Him. And I think that will be a good reminder for the children. If you have a good sturdy lid, you can write part of the verse, or maybe where they can find the verse, or if you could get it small enough, even a little label that you could put the verse on the bottle of the slime. But I do think they would enjoy that one. Okay, let's see. Okay, day 3, the foundation of worth. And this was the story about the last night that Jesus spent with His disciples. And the crafts for this one, they have this etched cross. And I'm sorry, I didn't take them out of here beforehand. This one is pretty simple. In the kit, they have all of the pieces. You just have to adhere. Well, no, they already have them stuck. So that's good. If you were going to do this and find it, you would have to cut all of the pieces out. But they took you just have a dull pencil, and they're going to make a design of some sort on this silver part. And it just gives a little dimension to it. Then they decorate it, the jewels are in there, and put a magnet on. So this could also go on the refrigerator as a reminder of what Jesus paid for us. The other thing in this one was the little hanger, wall hanger. No one has greater love. This one, it's not difficult. It just, you just have to think it calls for a 9-inch plate. I think not just any size, but you could do a smaller or larger plate. The little template is in the back of your leader's guide also. You just cut that out, and this is the 9-inch, and you just put it on there. Now it says to put it on the back and to use an awl to punch it. I used an ice pick. And all of this will have to be done ahead of time. You can't, the children won't be able to do this part. But you just punch all the holes in it, and then you get the plastic needles and some yarn, tape it on the back, and they just go up one and go across, and up another one and go across. So they really can't exactly mess it up. I looked at it and thought, I don't know if anybody can tell what that is, but I've had a couple of people identify it, so maybe so. But I think they would enjoy it. These needles, you have to really put your ice pick down and make the holes as big as you can, because these needles have large eyes, and it'll be difficult for some of them to pull it through. But I think they would enjoy doing that. Excuse me. Okay. That's the only ones that I've done. There are a couple of others in the book that I did not do. I'll kind of share a couple of them at the end. But some of them just are not feasible for us, I didn't think, to be able to do. You might be able to, you might like them. Okay, on day 4, Day 4, Foundation of Promise. And this was on the Sunday after Jesus' death, when Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, went to the tomb. And the angel told them that he had risen, just as he promised. We have several things on this one. One is a little mirror kit. This comes in a kit. I'm sorry, but this is it. I can't get it open, but this is it. So here's the kit before it's put together. And those are usually pretty easy, and if you can afford them, They're pretty affordable, more so than they used to be. And the advantage is that they are easy to, you don't have to go looking for all the materials. One of them also is the little coin purse. And the purpose of this one too, and it has on the top, Jesus will always love, and they're going to be looking at themselves, so it's me. Again, that reminds them of the promise that Jesus made. The next one is this little coin pouch, and it says, Jesus will always love me. That's the same theme that runs through all of them. This they could use to maybe collect coins to help others. I know we do an offering that the children save up for. They could put it in here, although some of the things that I see them come in would not fit in here, but it just opens up and they can actually put something in it. Maybe they could do dollars instead of all the coins. That would be better. Okay, this one is in a kit, and it just looks like this. So I'm going to try to remember how to put this one together for us. I remembered that the only thing was just the confusion is you just have to fold it. And you'll just fold all the edges in. I actually had a little trouble whenever I started doing the sides. And basically you're just going on the lines and it's an accordion type. And once you get it started, it's not difficult. The little ones, younger ones, would have to have some help getting started, and once they got the idea, some of them would be able to go with it. The older ones, I don't think would have any problem with it. And most of these crafts, I could do in about 10 to 15 minutes, depending. So depending on how long you have, you're going to have to adapt it. And one thing I didn't tell you on this puzzle over here, the I-beam where we cut it apart, you also want to be sure you have Ziplocs to put all those little things in. Because although most of the kids are good about putting their names on things, I can't imagine having all those little pieces separated and them trying to figure out whose is whose. On that one, the most time involved was coloring the thing, and a lot of the children won't want to do that, and that will be okay if they don't want to put much coloring time in it. Now, if I can find my closure. I had one. Sorry. Anyway, it comes with a little Velcro piece, which is sticky on both sides. My suggestion is to peel one side of it, leave them stuck together, peel one side, stick it, peel the other side, and close it, so that they'll always kind of be in the same place. If I tried to do them separately, it would never close correctly. So I've lost the enclosure here. Okay. And then the last one for this day that I put together was the Blueprint Maze. This one isn't a kit. You'll have to just, and I think the children will enjoy it. There are a couple of things you'll have to do in order for it to work. This is in the back of the leader guide, the template for that. You just run it off on tag. You can get 2 on a sheet of tag. The thing you have to do is laminate it. I'm not sure that contact paper might work, but I'm not sure that it will. It's got to be able to slide. It needs to be slick, and it also needs to be stiff enough to hold. The little Man is also in there. You could get about 6 to 8 on a sheet of white tag and run off. And they'll have to cut them out in the color, and then you just take a regular paper clip on the back, fold it down. Okay, this part you just have a yarn or ribbon. It's a golf tee and a circle magnet. Now the directions in there will tell you to use hot glue on these, but I found that the self-stick works just fine. You just need to stick it in there and stick it between there, and it holds good. You need a hole there for the string to hold on to. Then you just put him on, and they can try to race through, but I'm not as good as they do. But it does move. So there's a line for them to try to guide him around. And I think they'll probably get frustrated with it quickly, but they'll enjoy it. So that's another one that works pretty well. Oh, no, that's my magnet. Okay, on day 5, this is Foundation for Life. This one was the story about the 2 builders, the wise builder and the foolish builder, building on solid foundation, and that's what we've talked about. Jesus' love is the foundation for the rest of my life, and that's what we want the boys and girls to understand. The only one of these that I did was the kit. It is a little picture frame. It's pretty simple. I can't remember I think nearly all of the pieces are self-stick. So you don't have to worry about drying time. This, on the rock part, you just need to write, Jesus is my foundation. And if you put it up on the wall, most of the children will be able to write that. The smaller ones, the younger ones, you might just write it ahead of time on those pieces for them. It's just a matter of sticking. You have to remember this rock part goes on the back. Everything else sits on the front. And then it has a magnet on the back for it to go on the refrigerator or wherever. It's just a picture frame. And they can put whatever picture they want behind it. If you take pictures at Bible school, then you might print some out for them. This is a pretty good size, so, but it will work. So those are the ones that I've shared. Let me tell you the others that were in here for day 5. One of them was a rock trivet, and one of the reasons I didn't do it is I didn't have any river rocks around. I liked it. It's a good idea, but you'll need someone that will cut wood for you. It calls for 4-inch squares of wood, and then you have felt squares, and they glue the rocks on top, and it just makes a little trivet. I don't know if you can see it, but you can just imagine it's just got rocks on top. So that one also goes on the foundation. And then they had one, I didn't try this, a tape measure. I thought this was a cute idea, but I can't see it lasting more than about 2 or 3 minutes after they get it done. So I just envisioned some of those problems. So that pretty much tells me gives you all the things that I have tried. I hope it helps you, and I hope you've gotten some ideas that you can use. And remember that you can adjust any of these to your group. Try to simplify them as much as you can. The directions in the kits, I think, are pretty good this year. So if you just follow those, and the directions in the book have been pretty clear. I wasn't very good about following on the slide, but you've learned from my mistake. If there's anything we can do, that I can do to help you, if you have any questions, if you'll call me at the church here, the number is 830-277-1412. And just say you have a question, tell Brother Dwayne, he'll get it to me, and I will contact you, if at all possible, if I can come up with a solution for you. Thank you, and have a wonderful Bible school this year.